Good morning, my dear students. I welcome you back to our English class. In the previous class, we had studied about clauses and its type. Today, let us quickly just revise first what are clauses. So, as we all know, a clause is a group of words that has both the subject and the verb in it, or we can say it has a subject and the predicate in it. Okay. So, for example, I feel amazing when I help people. So, here, if you see, you have a subject and a verb combination. So, that is known as a clause. What do you mean by phrase, students? Phrase also we had done. So phrase is nothing but if either of the two is missing from it, the subject or the verb or both, if they are missing, it does not remain a clause but it becomes a phrase. For example, near the temple or with great force. Now, as we know that there are two types of clauses. First one is independent clause, also known as principal clause and main clause. And the second one is dependent clause, also known as subordinate clause. Okay, so dependent clause is always dependent on the main clause to complete its meaning. Okay. For example, we should think big, we never give up, Maya left the room. All these are examples of main clauses which do not require any other clause to complete the meaning. Okay, it stands alone on its own. Whereas dependent clause, as I told just now, it depends on the main clause to complete its meaning. The word itself tells us that it is dependent on someone. Who is that someone here? It is the independent clause. Examples that we had already seen in our previous class, so I won't go more in detail about main and subordinate clause. Today we are going to see the three different types of subordinate clauses. Okay, so subordinate clauses are subdivided into three categories. First one is a noun clause, second one is the adjective clause, and third is the adverb clause. Okay, so this I'm talking about the subordinate clauses. Main clauses I'm not talking about, I'm talking about subordinate clauses are divided into three subcategories: noun clause, adjective clause, and adverb clause. Now, adverb clauses are also divided into 9 categories that we'll see as we move on. Now, before we learn about noun clause, adjective clause, and adverb clause, first we should know the different types of verbs. If we do not know this, we won't be able to solve the examples. Okay, so here first is verbs can be classified into two categories. Okay, first one is finite verb and second is the non-finite verb. Now, what is a finite verb, students? Finite verbs are those verbs that agree with the subject, whether in person or number, and they indicate grammatical tense. Now, what do you mean by agreement? Now you all have studied about subject verb agreement, where the verb has to agree with the subject. If you go back to your 6th standard and if I tell you to recollect what is subject and verb agreement, you will also it will be clear to you when you all read your grammar book of 6th standard. Subject verb agreement was there for you all. So just to quickly tell you, subject verb agreement is nothing but where the subject and the verb should agree, they should match each other. Like, for example, if the subject is singular, the verb should also be singular. For example, she is playing cricket. Okay, or he is playing cricket. Now here, which is the subject, students? She and he. Okay, now after the subject is a verb. Now I cannot write she are playing cricket, I cannot write he are playing cricket. Now he and she both are singular subjects, and so I require a singular verb also. Okay, so which verb I'm using here? She is playing. Okay, so is our verb here, playing is also a verb, but is playing indicates it is agreeing to the subject. I cannot write are over here. Okay, are when I'll write when the subject is plural. Example, they are playing cricket. Okay, so they means plural, so that's the reason why my subject and verb is agreeing over here. Okay, in the same manner, what is a finite verb? Now pay attention to these examples that are given here. Sarah jumps from the stairs. Now here what is being stated, that the verb should agree with the subject. So jumps and Sarah, first we should know which is the verb. Verb is the action word, right? Okay, so here jumps is our verb. Okay, now do you think jumps is agreeing to Sarah? Yes, it is of course agreeing to Sarah. It is because Sarah is only one girl I'm talking about. Okay, Sarah is a girl. I'm talking only about one person over here. Okay, so here when I'm talking about Sarah, she is singular subject, and that's the reason jumps becomes my singular verb, right? So I will not write jump here, but I will write jumps. Jumps is a singular verb, right? So that means first thing is Sarah and jumps both are agreeing with person and with person. Okay, now the second example, what is the second statement? It indicates grammatical tense, means a finite verb usually tells us that what tense is that particular sentence into. Okay, or for example, that verb which is there, it tells us whether it's in past tense, whether it is in future tense, whether it is in present tense. Now here Sarah jumped from the stairs. Now here we know that Sarah is a subject, jumped is a verb we know, but when I say jumped, ed is coming, so that means I'm talking something that has happened in past. So your jumped indicates tense, right? That is past tense. So when such verbs are there that indicates tenses or that are agreeing to the subject in person and number, those verbs are known as finite verbs. Now what are non-finite verbs? Now non-finite verbs, which are there, students, it does not change the form according to the subject in number and person, and it also does not indicate any tense. So it doesn't change. The non-finite verbs do not change at all. For example, Sarah liked to jump. Now here if you notice, Sarah is our subject, liked is our verb, but if you notice here, jump is also a verb. Okay, but before jump you have to. So what do you mean 2 plus verb? Do you recollect anything? 2 plus verb is our infinitive, right? So here Sarah liked to jump. Now here liked, which is there, it indicates a particular tense, that is a past tense, right? But when I say jump, okay, jump which is there, it does not change. Okay, if I write like this, they liked to jump. Okay, Sita liked to jump. Okay, or they like to jump. So this to jump which is there, it doesn't change, it remains the same. Even if you put it in different sentences, it is going to remain the same. So the verb that does not change, okay, plus it does not indicate any tense. Now to jump means it doesn't indicate any tense, it doesn't show you any tense. Okay, so those verbs are known as non-finite verbs. One more example, mom loves cooking on Sunday. Now here see, mom loves cooking on Sunday. Now which is a verb? Verb here is two verbs you can find, loves is there and cooking is there, right? So cooking is also a verb, loves is also a verb, right? So now here what is finite verb, students? As I said, it agrees to the subject. So soon after the subject, if there is a verb, you can consider it as a finite verb. Okay, but here also you need to apply these rules over here. Okay, not always. So here loves. Now if I write they dash cooking on Sunday. So what will be that they dash? They love. You will not write loves. Okay, so loves is singular, love is plural. Okay, so mom loves. So this loves is agreeing to the subject mom plus this loves which is there tells us a tense of the sentence. So here mom loves which is there, this is a finite verb. But if you see cooking, this is a second verb over here, cooking which is there. Now cooking doesn't show any, it is not changing anywhere. They love cooking, she love cooking. Okay, so when I say like that, this cooking which is there remains the same in each and every sentence. So the cooking does not change. Okay, so cooking over here is a non-finite verb because it doesn't indicate any tense over here. Okay, plus it doesn't it is remaining the same, it does not change its form. Even if you apply it in other sentences also, it will not change the form. Okay, so that is the difference between finite and non-finite verb. Now this finite and non-finite verb is clear to you all, so we'll move on to our types of subordinate clauses. As I said, the very first type is a noun clause. Now what is a noun clause? A noun clause is a dependent clause that acts as a noun. Now forget about this first sentence. Look out for the second sentence. How to identify noun clause in a very easy manner. The very first thing is, for this types of subordinate clauses, the very very important thing you need to keep in mind is, first thing is, you should know what is a finite verb, you should know what is a non-finite verb, plus you should also know what is subordinating conjunction. So this will be very important when you all are solving the examples related to the clauses. Okay, so you should know the subordinating conjunctions. Which are the subordinating conjunctions? Okay, so now how to identify? Now there will be 3 sentences given and they will ask you like identify the clause and state which type of clause, subordinate clause it is. So how to identify it? See the first example. I know that India is a powerful country. Now here what we have to do is, we have to ask the question what to the main clause. Now first thing you have to do when it is identification, you have to find out the main clause and the subordinate clause. First thing you have to do this as soon as you get the question. So first find out the main clause. Now which is a main clause? A clause that has a subject and a verb. Right, now subordinating clause, as I told you all in the earlier lecture also, it begins with a subordinating conjunction. Okay, or it is also known as a subordinator. Right, so in short we call it as a subordinator. Now here wherever you can see, now see, notice that there might be 2 verbs in one particular sentence. Okay, so there will be 2 finite verbs in a sentence. So that one finite verb which is that will go in the main clause and one will go in the subordinate clause. Okay, now here if you see I know, now this I know is a main clause. Okay, we have a subject, we also have a verb over here. Okay, after this I know, now know is also a finite verb because know will keep on changing if the subject changes, right? So she knows will become, so this know which is there, it will keep on changing, so that's the reason why it is a finite verb, right? So main clause is I know. Now after that India is a powerful country, this is our subordinating noun clause or subordinate noun clause. Okay, now that is a subordinating conjunction. So right from that till country, okay, is a subordinating clause. Okay, now which clause? Subordinating clause it is? Noun clause. Now what you have to do here is, you have to ask the question what to the main clause and see if you're getting the answer in the subordinating clause, right? For example, see, now I know, what do I know? Or I know what do I know? I know that India is a powerful country. So you are getting this answer, no? That India is a powerful country. So you have to ask the question to the main clause, not to the subordinating clause. So I know what, or what do I know? I know that India is a powerful country. So whatever answer you get, that becomes your subordinate clause. Okay. In the same manner, second one, what happened at the end of the story is a mystery. Now here there might be some words missing, which you need to put it up later on in the bracket. That you have to imagine there it can be a verb. So here if you see, is a mystery is our main clause. Not always main clauses will come in the beginning of the sentence. It might come at the end as well. Okay, so we should know. Now first thing what you have to do is first find a conjunction. Where is a conjunction? Where is a subordinating conjunction? So your subordinating conjunction is what? Okay, so your subordinator is what, and that's the reason from that what to story I'm going to end my subordinating clause. Why? Now here if you see, you have a verb happened in, as I said, one finite verb should be there in main clause and one should be there in subordinating clause. So one happened is there in the main subordinating clause. Now that's the reason I'm ending with story, because after story if you see, forget about that it what I have put, that is just for your understanding that I have put. So the actual question is what happened at the end of the story is a mystery. Okay, so here is, which is there, is a finite verb. So that finite verb I cannot take two of them together in one subordinating clause. Okay, so I need to keep one for noun main clause as well. So one happened is over. Now why I ended at story over here? Because immediately after story is the word is. So is her finite verb. So from that finite verb till the mystery is my main clause. So is a mystery is a main clause. What is our subordinator? Now you have to ask the question what to the main clause to get the answer as to get the remaining part of the sentence as your answer. So you should ask what is a mystery. If you're getting it correct, what happened at the end of the story is a mystery. So what is a mystery? When you get the answer to this question what, that means it is a noun clause. Okay, I hope this is clear what is a noun clause. Second one is the adjective clause. Now what is an adjective clause? Now here in adjective clause it modifies a noun or a pronoun. Now how to identify whether it's an adjective clause? Now here if you see, again here subordinating conjunction is that. So you will say miss here also that is there, in the noun clause also that is there, but how to identify both the places that is there? What I said, noun clause should answer the question what, and adjective clause should answer the question which. If it is answering to your question, then it is either a noun clause or either a adjective clause. So here the house that I live in is beautiful. Now here if you see, the house is beautiful. Okay, there's color error over here. The house is beautiful. Now it is not always that the entire main clause will come towards one side. It can be split up also. So that you should know. You should be able to identify. Now you see the house. What does a main clause state? That it should have a verb. So we have the verb the house. Okay, the house is there. Now you should know where is the along with the subject there should be a verb as well, right? So which is a verb? Now where can I search for the verb? Now here if I take is as my verb, then it will make a proper clause. So the house is beautiful. So that I live in will be my subordinating clause. Okay, so the house is beautiful. So house is beautiful is giving a complete sense. Okay, so I have taken first half and the last half. Now here again finite verb one I have used and one I have kept for subordinating clause. Okay, now here see, now that is a subordinator. So from that till in, because is beautiful I have already used for main clause. So that I live in is my subordinating adjective clause. So here, which is my finite verb? Live is my finite verb. So one I had kept for subordinating clause and one for the main clause. You should know how to pick up this subordinating conjunction. Now, ask the question which to the main clause. So which house is beautiful? The house that I live in is beautiful. You're getting this answer. But if I ask what house is beautiful, it will not give me the answer as that I live in. For this, I need to ask which. Okay, so that is how you identify noun clause and adjective clause. Now here I know what, when I answer this, I will get India is a powerful country. But if I ask what over here, I will not get the answer. Next, we went to a place which was full of red roses. Now here, first find out the subordinating conjunction. So which is my subordinating conjunction? Now see, check out for the subordinating conjunction and the finite verb, and first mark the subordinating conjunction there. Okay, then the remaining part will be your main clause, right? So we went to a place becomes my main clause, because in main clause I have a subject we, and went is also there, that is my finite verb, right? So here I have one main clause, finite verb is a subject is also there, which is my subordinator. Subordinator, as I said, subordinating clauses always begins with a subordinating conjunction. So which is my subordinator? Now already I have taken we went to a place, so the remaining part is my subordinating adjective clause. Okay, now here which is my finite verb? Was is my finite verb. Okay, so this was about your adjective clause. Now how you will ask the question to the main clause here? We went to which place? We went to a place which was full of red roses. So you are getting the answer. So if the question which is asked, then you will get the answer. If you get the answer, then that means it is an adjective clause. Okay, now we come to the last clause, that is the adverb clause. Now this adverb clause has 9 categories. First thing is a clause that functions as an adverb. They tell why, where, when or what happens in a sentence. Now this adverb clauses, they are frequently movable within the sentence. Now it is not that adverb clauses will come only in the beginning like other clauses as well. They can come anywhere in the beginning. It can be in the middle of the sentence or at the end of the sentence. Not always in the beginning, but anywhere in the middle also it can come, at the end also it can come, depends. Okay, for example, if you see here, when the timer rings, we know the cake is done. Now here when is my subordinator, so when the timer rings. Now this subordinating clause which is there, or adverb clause which is there, it is coming in the beginning of the sentence. So like that also it might come. It might come in the middle also. My grandmother, comma, when she was angry, comma. So there will be commas. This will indicate that they are in between those comma there is subordinating clause. Okay, so it might come in the middle also, or it might come at the end. We know the cake is done when the timer rings, so at the end also it will come. Okay, now let's quickly see the types of adverb clauses. The very first type is adverb clause of place. Now when I'm talking about place, obviously the question that comes to my mind is where. Okay, where are you going means you're asking that person which place are you going, right? You want the name of the place where that person is going. So when place you want to identify from the clause, if the answer you get after asking where into that particular main clause, that means it is adverb clause of place. Okay, now what and which we are asking for noun clause and adjective clause. So here adverb clauses, there will be different types in this. So how to identify, let's see. I have put it where I can find it again. Where I have put it, where I can find it again. So when I'm asking the question where to the main clause, I get my answer as where I can find it again. So where I have put it, where I can find it again. So I'm getting this as my answer. So that's the reason why it is known as place. Then time. Now time, when you ask the question, answer is when. When are you going to come? I'm talking about what time are you going to come, okay, or when what time period, in which day or what day you're going to come. Tell me the time period or the time when you're going to come. So when it comes, it indicates time. For example, Monica was reading while Tom was writing. So this is just an example that I'm giving. In detail I'm explaining in the later slides. Then cause and reason, you need to ask why. Then purpose, you need to ask no, again why, but what was the reason for doing that. Concession and contrast, opposite ideas, you can say why is this unexpected. When two opposite ideas are placed in one sentence, that is contrast. Then, or concession also it is called as. Then condition, okay, under what condition. So you won't pass unless you work hard. Conditions, in our day to day life we put a lot of conditions in front of our parents. If you don't give me this, I will do this, or if you don't give me this, I will not study. So this conditions what we are putting, okay. Then seventh is manner, the way of doing it, how we are doing it. So how, when you ask. Then comparison, comparison means when you're comparing someone. And effect or result, when you are expecting any result of something, the effect of it, the consequence of it, okay. So let's see the first one, that is adverb clause of place, okay. Now adverb clause of place tells us where something happens, okay. As I said, place means something related to place, okay. Now when you see these words like where, wherever, everywhere, these clauses are usually introduced by these words like where, wherever and everywhere. So where you can see where, no, that means it is adverb clause of place. It should answer the question where as well. I am not sure where she lives, okay. Now here if you see, not always your question is answered by where, okay, but how do you identify it? Where, wherever and everywhere, okay. So when this subordinators are there, you should identify that this is an adverb clause of place, okay. Now I am not sure where she lives. So from where till lives. Now here I is my main I is my subject, am is my finite verb, right? So I have one finite verb here. Now another finite verb I am keeping for my subordinating clause. So she is my subject and lives is my finite verb. So one finite here, one finite there. So from where till lives, I am going to mark it as adverb clause of place. Same, he followed her wherever she went. Again, he followed her wherever she went. From wherever till went is my subordinating adverb clause of place. Next examples are, we met kind people everywhere we went. Again, everywhere it is beginning with. So from everywhere till went is my adverb clause of place. So wherever you see where, wherever and everywhere, that is your adverb clause of place. Now as I said, adverb after the subordinating clause, if the subordinating clause is coming before if the subordinating clause is beginning the sentence, then there will be a comma after it. So like wherever I go, comma, so after that comma is your main clause, okay. So wherever I go again is my subordinating adverb clause of place. So one thing you need to note is, do not end the sentence till you get a finite verb. Finite verb should be there. If finite verb is not there, then you need to search for that. That's the town where I was born. So where I was born is my adverb clause of place. It shows which place I was born, okay. Then adverb clause of time. Now time, again you need to look out for these words like when, whenever. There it was wherever, here it is whenever. Then while, as, before, after, until, since and as soon as. All these subordinators indicate time. So whenever you get this subordinators, you should know that this is adverb clause of time. When he arrives, he will tell us the truth. Means what? Whatever time he arrives, that time period, whatever he arrives, whatever time he arrives, that time he will tell us the truth. So here I am talking about time. So that is adverb clause of time. Then Mary was dancing while John was singing. Again, Mary was dancing is my main clause. While till the last part will be my subordinating adverb clause of time. The train left as we arrived. So again, introduced by as. So wherever you have as, begin from there adverb clause. Okay, from as you begin till the end, that is arrived. Same in the same manner the other sentences are also there. Okay, so you can go through the sentences later on. In the same manner, if you see here, before is there, after one sentence I have given, I'll do my homework before I go to school, means I'm talking about a time, I'm giving a time to that particular person, that before I go to school, this time before I go to school I'll do my work. So before, after, all this indicates time. So whenever you see this before, after, since, while, as soon as, you should know that it is adverb clause of time. For that you should remember which are the subordinators, that stands for what. Then adverb clause of reason. Reason means you're giving a cause, you're giving some reason to it. Now reason, obviously give reasons. Know how you begin, so and so, the sun rises in the east because, or so and so, why there is gravitational forces and all. Okay, so when why is there, obviously something is asked, some reason is asked. So your because obviously comes in our mind when reason is asked. Then since and as. Okay, so I was late because I could not catch the bus. So why I was late? Because I could not catch the bus. So here you can ask the question why. So I was late, why I was late? Because. So because is my conjunction here. So from because I'm beginning my clause, adverb clause of reason, or cause also you can write. Okay, then since I was late, I took a taxi. Why I took a taxi? Since I was late, I took a taxi. Now here also, if you see students, since is there, but this since is acting in time. This is acting for reason. Okay, this is giving a reason. Here it is telling you a time. Gemma hasn't stopped working since she arrived. So this since which is there, that is indicating time, and this since which is, that is indicating reason, when you're giving reason. I listened to classical music because it sounds beautiful. As the weather was bad, we cancelled the picnic. Why did we cancel the picnic? You ask a question why to this reason. Only then you will get the answer. Okay. So why did we cancel the picnic? Because the weather was bad, or as the weather was bad. Then I will help you. Why I will help you? Why will I help you? Since you are so kind to me. So I'm asking why to this main clause. As it was so sunny, he walked to the park. Why did he walk to the park? As it was so sunny. So if you're getting this question's answer, that means it is adverb clause of reason. Then adverb clause of concession or contrast. Contrast in a sense, two contrasting statements are given, opposite statements are given. For example, how are you going to identify adverb clause of concession or contrast, students? By looking at these words: though, although, even if, while, even though, whereas, no matter how, or no matter what. Okay, so these conjunction states adverb clause of concession. Now opposite ideas. Now although he is small, he is very strong. Okay, so although begins with a conjunction. Okay, so although he is small but he is strong. Usually we say he is big, so that's why he is strong. But here it is opposite. He is small, so he should be weak according to us. But it is not always like that. So he is small, but he is very strong. Okay, opposite ideas are given. No matter how smart they are required to do the work. Again, no matter how is beginning the sentence. Okay, then there is a comma. So after that comma is your main clause. The main thing, easy way to identify if the subordinating conjunction is coming in the beginning of the sentence. After comma is our main clause. Okay, then the girl was still dead no matter what the doctor did. So no matter what, we know that this is introducing an adverb clause of concession. So begin from no matter what till did, that will be our adverb clause of concession, and the remaining is the main clause. Okay, then I enjoyed the meal though it was expensive. Even though I was full, I could not stop eating. So all these are your examples of adverb clause of concession. Then adverb clause of result or effect. What is the result of it? What is the outcome of it? When we say, no, if you're appearing for your exam, you get your result. So that is the outcome of what you have done. It tells us about consequences, what is going to happen after that. So here in this, here if you see, the result which is there, these clauses are always linked with, they are linked, this conjunctions which are there, they don't come together, they come in parts, like so plus there can be an adjective in between, or there can be an adverb in between, and then that is there. Okay, so that so might come in the main clause, and that will go in the subordinating clause. Okay, so Tom was so weak that he could not run. So which is our subordinating conjunction here, so and that, but in between that so that there is a adjective there, that is weak. So Tom was so weak that he could not run. Now looking at this sentence also, you will come to know that because he was weak, what is the consequences of he being weak, what is the result of his being weak, that he could not run. So that is the effect or the consequence of he being weak, right? So that means it is adverb clause of result. It was such a strange story that no one believed it. So again, such plus a plus adjective plus noun, or anyone plus that. So there can be an adjective, there can be a noun plus that. So such that won't come together in adverb clause of result. They will be split up. Something will be there in between, adjective, adverb, or adjective or noun will be there. Then if so that is there, then adverb or adjective will be there. If such that is there, then adjective and noun, any one will be there. I was so dash tired, tired is there. Okay, so tired that, so that is not coming together here. I could not stay awake. So I was so tired, because of that, what was the result of this tiredness? That I could not stay awake. So that is the result of it, consequence of it. Okay, then adverb clause of purpose. Now in adverb clause of purpose, purpose means why something is happening, for what purpose it is happening. Okay, so now here if you see, so that is coming together. Okay, in this adverb clause of result, so that was not coming together. So that was coming, but then in between there was an adjective or an adverb. But here in adverb clause of purpose, so that is coming together. Okay, so he arrived earlier so that he would not be late. So what was his purpose of coming earlier or arriving earlier? So that he would not be late. He came early so that he would not be late. So that was his purpose, his intention of coming earlier. She brought the credit cards in case she did not have enough card. So what was her purpose of bringing credit cards? Her purpose of bringing credit cards was that because she did not have enough cash with her. That's the reason why she had bought those credit cards with her, right? So that is for that purpose she had brought. There was some purpose behind it. So how to identify? Look out for this word, so that, in case, in order, lest, all these words tells you adverb clause of purpose. Then adverb clause of manner, how something happens, in what manner it happens. Okay, so here you can ask a question, how. So this is introduced by like, as if, and as though. For example, please do as I have told you. So as I said, these clauses are introduced by as. So from as till you is my adverb clause of manner. So how to do this? As I have told you. She looked as though she was in pain. How did she look? So here you can ask a question, how, for manner. How did she look? She looked as though she was in pain. Ryan walked past as if he had not seen us. So how did Ryan walk? Ryan walked past as if he had not seen us. He talked to me like I was a child. How did he talk to me? Like I was a child. So when you're getting this question how, and you're getting the answer in the subordinating clause, then it is adverb clause of manner. Okay, how it is happening, how something happens. Then adverb clause of comparison. Now, adverb clause of comparison is used to compare things or ideas. Comparison does not happen, with only one person. Like, you require minimum two people to compare. Okay, so the words like he is shorter than him, or than, than word shows comparison, or and as shows comparison. Okay, why dot dot is given there? That means something, some adjective is in between. Okay, so my brother is older than he looks. So my brother and he both are compared with the word than. So than he looks is my adverb clause of comparison. So my brother is older is my main clause, than he looks is my adverb clause of comparison. Then she is as beautiful as she is smart. Okay, so here she is as beautiful as. Now your adverb clause of comparison begins from as then dot dot, that means there is an adjective over there. Okay, so that is our main clause, right? Now, so she is smart becomes my so main clause. Okay, okay, then you are stronger than you think. Again, than, as I said, it begins with than. So than you think is my adverb clause of comparison. Comparison is done. That restaurant is not as good as it used to be. Okay, so as good as, that restaurant is not as good as it used to be. So here as, in between you have an adjective and then as. Okay, so this states adverb clause of comparison. Okay, then adverb clause of condition. Condition means some condition is put. If you do this, I will do that. Some condition is put. Okay, certain circumstances under which something happens. So how to identify if it begins with if, unless, or provided that. So if I only watch TV if my favorite show is on. So what condition, what is my condition? I will watch TV only if my favorite show is on, only then I am going to watch TV. So that is a condition that I have put. He won't go to university unless he studies very hard. Okay, so this is adverb clause of condition. How to identify? Unless, if, provided, that if it is given. Okay, so this was all about your adverb clauses, students. Still, if you have any doubts, we shall discuss about it in our upcoming lecture, that is on Friday. I'll clear your doubts if still you all have any doubts. I hope the adverb clause of manner, purpose, result, everything is clear to you. There is this exercise that I have given here. This you have to do. Now what is to be written? I will send you all one word copy that you write all these examples. There are a lot of examples over here. More examples are given. So you can just cut short the examples and write. So I'll give you all the copy to write. So don't copy this entire PPT. I'll send you what is to be written. So pick out the main clause is your first exercise. Now here you just have to pick out the main clause and the subordinate clause. That's it. Nothing else you have to do. Just pick out which is a main clause, subject verb is there, which is a subordinate clause. Search for the subordinator. From there you begin the subordinating clause. Okay, but should see to it that there is a finite verb also in that subordinating clause. So only this picking out of main clause and subordinating clause is given in the first exercise. In the second exercise, what you have to do is you have to underline the main clause. Okay, just don't underline the main clause, you write down there. Like for example, I will get up early so that I will see you. Okay, now here I will get up early is my main clause. So I will write my answer as I will get up early dash main clause. My conjunction I will write so that. Okay, that is my subordinator, and then the entire whichever subordinating clause it is, like just now we saw, no, so that. Okay, so so that I will see you dash subordinating adverb clause of purpose. Okay, so that you can write like that. Okay, so 3 things you need to write. So here if you see, so that just now I told adverb clause of purpose. Okay, so you first write which is a main clause, second you write the subordinator, and then the entire subordinating clause. But which clause it is that you need to write, whether it is a noun clause, whether it's an adjective clause, if it's an adverb clause, which adverb clause it is, that also you need to write. Okay, so like that, same other examples also you have to write. Okay, I hope this is clear. Thank you so much, students. See you all in the next lecture.